6 of the Little Rock Nine land in New York, 1958. A Union's tribute to courage and a living legacy. On August 22, 1958, 6 of the Little Rock Nine arrived at LaGuardia Airport in New York City, descending the stairs of a chartered plane to a reception that honored them not only for what they had endured, but for how they changed America. The black and white photograph of that moment, students walking arm in arm, accompanied by union and civil rights leaders, has become part of the visual memory of the civil rights era. They were Melba Patillo, Beals, Carlotta Walls Lanier, Jefferson Thomas, Minnie Jean Brown, Tricky, Gloria Ray, Karl Mark, and Elizabeth Eckford. Flown to New York by Local 6, the Hotel, Club, and Restaurant Employees Union, they had come to receive that year's Better Race Relations Award. This event was far more than ceremony. It was an act of national recognition, a message to the country that these young people's journey had crossed from a regional battleground into the heart of public conscience. From Little Rock to national spotlight. The background, the Little Rock Crisis, 1957. 4 years before the award, in 1957, the Little Rock Nine had volunteered to integrate Central High School in Little Rock, Arkansas, a move mandated by Brown v's Board of Education, 1954, but resisted fiercely in practice. On September 4, 1957, the students attempted to enter the school but were blocked by the Arkansas National Guard under orders of Governor Orville Faubus and a crowd of hostile protesters. Amid mounting tension, President Dwight D. Eisenhower intervened. He federalized the Arkansas National Guard and sent in the 101st Airborne Division to protect the students' entry. The students attended classes under constant harassment, verbal abuse, physical threats, social ostracism. Some endured acid thrown at them, being pushed, taunts, and other forms of violence. Minnie John Brown was suspended after dumping a bowl of chili on taunting white students. Later she was expelled for the year and transferred out. On May 27, 1958, Ernest Green became the first of the Little Rock Nine to graduate from Central High. Through that school year, the Nine drew national attention. Their courage and suffering became central symbols in the fight for civil rights in education. The role of Local 6 and the award. In June 1958, Local 6 presented the Little Rock Nine with its Better Race Relations Award, honoring their dignity and unfailing courage. The award ceremony took place in the Gertrude Lane Auditorium, New York City, attended by union members, civil rights leaders, including NAACP's Roy Wilkins, and public figures. New York Governor Averell Harriman and Senator Jacob K. Javits, via telegram, extended greetings. Following the ceremony, the students were shown around the city. They met with New York's mayor, visited City Hall, lunched with UN officials, toured the United Nations, saw a Broadway show, and sampled the cultural life of the city. The Union explicitly hoped the trip would provide relief, a moment of recognition, and emotional sustenance after months of almost unrelenting pressure in Little Rock. Thus, their arrival at LaGuardia was not just a travel moment, it was a symbol of the journey from oppression into public affirmation. Individual stories, 6 who arrived in New York, and more. Below is a sketch of who these students were, what they faced, and how their lives unfolded. Melba Patillo Beals. Melba was born December 7th, 1941, in Little Rock, Arkansas. Her mother, Lois Marie Patillo, was among the first black graduates of the University of Arkansas and later worked as a high school English teacher. Melba later wrote the memoir Warriors Don't Cry, 1994, recounting her ordeal. After Little Rock, she completed high school in Santa Rosa, California, earned a BA in journalism, an MA from Columbia, and later a doctorate in multicultural studies. Her career includes work as a journalist, communications consultant, motivational speaker, and educator. Carlotta Walls-Lanier. Carlotta was the youngest member of the nine, entering Central High as a sophomore. She later wrote, "A Mighty Long Way, My Journey to Justice at Little Rock Central High School." After leaving Little Rock, she moved, graduated in 1960, and went on to build a career in real estate and public speaking. Minnie Jean Brown, tricky. Minnie Jean faced constant harassment during her year at Central High. Her most notorious confrontation came in the cafeteria when she dropped chili on taunting white students. She was suspended, then later expelled. She transferred to the New Lincoln School in New York City and continued her education there. Elizabeth Eckford. Elizabeth became one of the most iconic images of the crisis when she walked alone past a hostile mob to attempt entry to Central High. Elizabeth became one of the most iconic images of the crisis when she walked alone past a hostile mob to attempt entry to Central High. In New York in 1958, she spoke at the local Six ceremony on behalf of the group. Jefferson Thomas Jefferson was another male student in that original group. He passed away in 2010. During the crisis, he endured beatings, harassment, and the daily stress of being under scrutiny. Gloria Ray, Karl Mark. Gloria Ray earned her place among the nine and later pursued higher education in chemistry and mathematics. She worked in the private sector, e.g. the ITT Research Institute, and contributed to international scientific work post-integration. Other Little Rock Nine, Ernest Green, Thelma Mothershed, Terrence Roberts, did not join the June 1958 New York trip, though Ernest Green was present, at the awards ceremony and spoke for the group. The arrival photograph, meaning and symbolism. The image of those six students stepping off the plane in New York captures more than a moment in transit. It is a visual statement of dignity, perseverance, and transition from local battle to national cause, accompanied by figures like Daisy Bates, the NAACP leader who played a guiding role for the students, and union officials. The photograph places them at the center of public attention, underlining that the moral weight of their struggle had crossed into broader public life. The presence of the Union, the applause of New York audiences, the involvement of civil rights and political leaders, and the media coverage all combined to amplify their voices. It reinforced that these weren't isolated teenagers. They were witnesses, symbols, and actors in a nation's moral reckoning. Legacy and continuing relevance, honors and remembrance. In 1958, the Little Rock Nine, along with Daisy Bates, were awarded the Spingarn Medal by the NAACP. In 1999, the U.S. Congress awarded them the Congressional Gold Medal, the nation's highest civilian honor, for their selfless heroism in 1957. Central High and other sites have become national historic sites and museums, preserving their stories. Continuously, the surviving members have given speeches, written memoirs, taught, and maintained the public memory of their struggle. Why this matters in 2025. Living memory is still alive. Many of the Little Rock Nine are still alive in 2025, and their first-hand testimonies bridge past and present. Legacy of inequality remains. De jure segregation has been abolished, but de facto segregation, resource disparities, and systemic inequities persist in education, housing, and justice. Educational truth matters. Efforts to erase or soften the history of slavery, Jim Crow, and segregation threaten the ability of new generations to understand how structural inequalities emerged and persist. Courage inspires. The story of 6 teens flown to New York for recognition shows how acts of solidarity, by unions, by communities, by individuals, can elevate local struggles into national moral currents. Suggested edits, sources, and publication tips, photograph credits and rights. The LaGuardia arrival photograph is catalogued in the CRDL, Center for Research Library's digital collection. Direct quotes. You can incorporate quotes from Warriors Don't Cry, Melba Beals, or A Mighty Long Way, Carlotta Walls, to bring voice. Contextual framing. You may want to start the article with a scene, New York, August 1958, and then move backward to Little Rock, then forward again. Audiences like narrative arcs. Fact-checking names. Ensure all names and spellings are correct. Minnie-Jean, Patillo/Patillo, Eckford, etc. Acknowledging sources. When you publish, cite key sources, CRDL, hotelworkers.org, National Park Service, etc.